Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into today's and this week's edition of the Golden Eagle Weekly Podcast, taking a look at Golden Eagle athletics across Laramie County Community College and what exactly is coming up in the upcoming weekend for Laramie County Community College. I'm Caleb Burgraff. Happy to have you here with us. Great podcast on the way for you guys. We'll be talking with Assistant Athletic Director Vince Gibson in just a little bit. Plus, we'll be talking with our Athlete of the Week, Macy Woolcock from the women's soccer team. Fantastic week for Macy, getting a pair of goals in the victory over Central Wyoming College. We'll talk more about what she's done on the season going into that. And also, we're going to talk with the head coach of the women's soccer team, Jim Gardner, will be joining us as they've got a really important stretch of their schedule coming up. They're 1-1 in Region 9 play right now and really have a lot of important matches coming forward. Lamar and Northeastern Junior College are going to be the two on schedule this weekend for them. We'll talk more about what Jim has to say, and we'll talk more about that schedule coming forward. And finally, we're going to talk rodeo. That's right, the rodeo team. They get their season underway. The schedule, you can find it on golccc.com. You can also check out the roster now on golccc.com. But we're going to talk with Seth Klaus, the head coach for the Golden Eagles, in the arena as they get ready to head over to Chadron State. The opening rodeo for them starting up on Friday the 16th. They'll go through the 17th and 18th over in Nebraska to get their season underway. And of course, we'll be keeping an eye on them. Lots of stuff going on there, so let's just jump right into things. We had a chance to sit down and talk with the Assistant Athletic Director here at Laramie County Community College, Vince Gibson, stepping into that role after being a coach here at Laramie County. And we talked with him a little bit about just the adjustment into the role and what exactly this time of year means to him as an administrator and as a person in the athletic department. You also have kind of been taking over a new position here, but you've been here for now about a half year in the Assistant AD position, a little bit more than that. How have things been going for you?
They have been going good. I've been busy every day, but it's been good dealing with issues and making sure players are successful, coaches are successful, the program's going. Just got done with the Hall of Fame, so that was great to do. Just hired an esports coach, Cindy Benitez, getting her on par with things. Her season's about ready to roll. Been a few rodeo practices, so we're excited about what's coming.
One of the big things that you're in charge of is the eligibility side of things. How important is that? I know as a coach, when you were coaching the kids, you knew how important it was, but now that you're on the other side, how important is that position been as far as making sure things run smoothly for the coaches?
You know, eligibility is a lot of paperwork. It's not just me doing it. The registrar's doing it. Tyler Garrison's helping out. Coaches, we're just trying to get all the forms corrected, all the right signatures, make sure all their letters of intent are ready. It's kind of a consuming process, but they have to be eligible to play. So we just make sure everything's done right so they can play the game.
Busy weekend at home with soccer out there. Do you like it when the teams are at home a little bit more, because that gives you, especially now that you don't travel with the men's soccer team as a coach, gives you a chance to see what's going on and be able to interact a little bit more?
Yeah, most definitely. We do this to watch the kids compete, and coming from the coach to administration, I still want to be at those games and watch them compete. So it's nice to have home games, see what they're doing, see the fans, see the boosters, just seeing the whole atmosphere. I love being a part of that.
Well, we'll wrap it up with this one for you, Vince, and that's, what do you miss most about the coaching side of things when it comes to it? What are some of the things that you kind of stand there on the sidelines and wish you had back? And on the flip side of that question, what are things that you really enjoy about this side of the job?
I miss the competitiveness, just being out there and going against other teams and game planning and watching film and recruiting those kids. I do miss that. On my side of things that I like to do now administratively, I just like how everything functions, and we have the new rack going on, and I'm very interested in the process of how it starts from point A to point B to actually having this done point C. So I'm getting a lot of administrative responsibilities and knowledge, and so really enjoying that aspect too.
Big thanks to Vince Gibson, and a lot of stuff on his plate, so we really appreciate him being able to slide us in and give us some time to talk to him about how he's been adjusting to that. We'll be talking a lot more with the administration here in terms of the athletic department, getting you to know a few more of the faces who are around here in the athletic department. So big thanks to Vince for giving us a peek into what he's been up to over the last couple of weeks as the school year has been getting rolling, and a big piece on his plate, that eligibility. Can't be competing in athletics if you don't get those eligibilities down. Wasn't just the administration we're talking to. We also got a chance to talk with the teams and our Athlete of the Week. What a week it was for Macy Woolcock. The freshman from Essex, England, has been trying to break in and get her first goals on the season. She was able to do that this weekend against the Rustlers from Central Wyoming College. Got a goal 50 seconds into that match. Helped the Golden Eagles to their opening victory of the season. So a really big win for them. They're now 1-5, and we had a chance to talk with our Athlete of the Week. So thanks to Macy Woolcock for joining us on the show.
First of all, congratulations, Athlete of the Week. How's it feel to be able to breaking in?
It feels good. I feel happy, and the way I performed at the weekend, I'm happy with getting Athlete of the Week.
You guys get your first win of the season.
Mm-hmm.
How did it feel as a team to get that weight lifted off?
It felt so much better, and like on the bench, everyone was a lot happier, and I feel like it brought us together as a team. It made everyone a lot happier.
One of the other things that I've noticed too is you and even talking with Coach Gardner, you and Caroline on the other side of the attackers, you both have been starting to kind of really find your groove out there. What's been different for you the last couple of matches?
I feel like working with the midfield. Me and Caroline, we have a lot of speed, so getting up the field is good for us, but it's just finding the slots and getting it through that's been difficult. But this past game has been good, and we really worked on it with Gardner and bringing out the ball and him showing us where he wants us to place the balls for us to get onto.
This weekend you guys get back to a little bit of an easier, I shouldn't say easier, Lamar newer program, I guess is the best way to say it, and then you go from Lamar to NJC, which is a bit tougher, but you're at home. Are you excited to be back at home?
Yeah, it feels good to be playing at home. The travelling's a lot all weekend, but it's good to have some home games as well. I'm excited.
Well, talking about the traveling, you're from England, and obviously the travel for club matches for you over there was nothing like, I'm assuming, the travel here. How's the adjustment, not just for travel, but to the style of soccer from European to American?
I feel like here it's a lot more physical. The play's physical. I'd say in England it's more technical, but I feel like I've adjusted quite well. I feel like I need to work on the physical side, but overall it's sort of the same way of playing.
We'll wrap it up with just a couple more quick questions, Macy. The first one is, where would you like to see your game? You just mentioned one part that you'd like to see it grow, and that's the physicality. Any other parts that you'd like to see your game take a leap this year?
I feel like the more technical side, so like my personal skills and stuff, because I've got a lot of speed and I rely on the speed, whereas I want to work on technical stuff as well.
And on the team side of things, you guys got the win now. Do you feel this is a chance for you guys to springboard and really leap into the conference season?
Yeah, I feel like having this win, it will motivate us more to keep winning and keep putting in the work to get more wins and hopefully get to nationals.
There you have it, folks. Our Athlete of the Week, Macy Woolcock, 2 goals in the win against Central Wyoming College. And Macy, congratulations.
Thank you.
Macy Woolcock joining us there as she is our Athlete of the Week. Big congratulations to her on earning that honor. The freshman out of Essex, England, really excited to see how she continues to grow and continues to progress as a member of the Golden Eagles team, and how the Golden Eagles themselves continue to progress. They've got some big games coming up this week, and we started to allude to that a little bit beforehand, taking a look at the schedule. The men's and women's soccer teams both at home this weekend. A 1 o'clock start for the men in both matches. Lamar on Friday, and then Northeastern Junior College coming up out of Sterling. They'll be taking them on Saturday. And then at 3:30 both days, the women will be out there on the field against the same two teams. Lamar coming up on Friday, and then Saturday will be Northeastern Junior College. Important matches for both teams as they are both able to get their first Region 9 victories over the last weekend, and you want to build on that momentum after taking down the Rustlers of Central Wyoming College. Speaking of building on that momentum, we talked with the head man who is in charge of getting that momentum going for the women's soccer team. Jim Gardner had a chance to talk with us about how his season has progressed. Aside from the record, we really didn't look much into what the record says, more about how the team has been improving and more about how the team has been getting themselves ready for a final push at the end. As we will not make you wait anymore, Jim Gardner joining us here on the program. What's really stood out to you the most in the first 3 weeks of the season?
I think the way that the kids are playing, they're coming together. They play hard. I have seen that our fitness is down a little, so that's something we've got to work in to be able to compete on weekends with back-to-back games. But I've enjoyed the way they're listening and they're really trying to implement what we're talking about or teaching.
I think that's the biggest thing. Every single time I talk to you, you talk about having the meeting after a game or having the discussions with them after practices. And that's got to make you feel a lot better and a lot more confident when you are talking to them and bringing them new information.
Yeah, it's a slow process and sometimes frustrating because we obviously know what we want and they don't always read our minds the way we like them to. So with those two things in mind, we've got to back off a little bit and slow the process down so they can catch up. I think we're trying to move and throw so much at them that they get it at first and then they start thinking too much and overthink, and then overthink usually cause mistakes. So slow down a bit, work on more of the process to get it to there instead of trying to get to the end so fast and try and do one game at a time.
And that worked out for you guys on Saturday with the victory against Central Wyoming. 4-0. Not only get the victory, but you get the shutout. Hannah McNeve gets her first career shutout as a collegiate athlete. First career goals for Macy Woolcock as well as Cheyenne Colhagen. What did you see in that matchup that changed a little bit from the previous 5?
I think what I talked about earlier is that we made some adjustments the night before and really stressed of the basics that we have to do, and changing the point of attack, which means switching the field, going the opposite way, using diagonal balls instead of everything straight. When you use diagonal, I think in any sport, it's a lot harder to defend than it is with the ball coming straight at you. So even, you watch football or basketball, everything's diagonal, hardly anything straight at you. You want angles and cuts, and that's what we're trying to get them to do. As far as the goals scored, those with Macy, I think that's actually her third goal. She scored in Iowa Western. And Cheyenne was there at the right place, right time, came off a free kick. And what was nice about that game, too, was seeing our bench players come off the bench and do the same thing that the starters were supposed to do. They were listening, and that was good to see. So kudos to the bench of doing things that we talked about the night before.
You get another younger program coming in this week, Lamar coming in to open things up on Friday. Is that a good one to keep the momentum rolling from CWC to really be able to cement some of the confidence that the girls picked up in that game?
Yeah, I guess that's a good way to put it. It's good to keep rolling on things that you can. It's very difficult to play hard teams all the time, and sometimes you drop a few games, and you got to make sure that when you do play teams that supposedly have a reputation of not being as good, that you stay on top of it, because you can drop those easy. We're not a team right now that's scoring a lot of goals, so we have to be very careful not to get scored on or going with the thought that we're going to win the game first. That's the idea of taking it one at a time and not looking ahead past Lamar. Once we get there, then we'll look at Sterling and on down the road. But I think early on, we kind of set our sights too high, and maybe I thought the talent level was a little more at a higher level than it was, simply because I thought they would come together faster, and that hasn't happened. So I think we got to back off and just take her one game at a time.
When you talk about that, too, and we'll wrap it up with this question, how do you keep the team focused on the fact that there's still a long season left to go, that this is the college season, which lasts a little bit longer and has a little bit more chances to still make those late pushes?
Well, that's what the game's all about, is the late pushes. My whole career, it's always the last 2 games that count, or, you always have another chance until you don't, which means the season's over. So we keep competing at the highest level we can and recognizing that no matter what you do during the conference season, it's the tournament that counts. So if we get to where we want to be by the tournament, then that's the best we can do, and we'll work to be the best in conference champ.